Hello, everybody. I'm Francesco Rulli. I'm the CEO of Querlo. I am also the Forbes AI Solution Business Partner. Today, I'm here with Andrés Fortino, who is a professor at the New York University. So, Andrés, if you can give us a little bit of background about your work and your life.
Sure. Thank you. Francesco, I'm a clinical professor, associate professor at the School of Professional Studies at NYU, and I teach business analytics. I teach data visualization. More recently, I've been an engineer all of my life. So the world looks like a problem to be solved. That's how I was trained formally. But I've had a great career as an engineer and also as an educator, as a teacher. I've been through a number of positions in higher education. I've been a dean, a provost. I now finally back to my first love, which was teaching. So I'm teaching some great students, artificial intelligence, a little bit, applied. I'm not a data scientist, more of a data analyst, very practical, but we're having lots of great students and with a lot of desire to learn this new space. So I'm glad to be able to talk to you about artificial intelligence and where it can go.
Fantastic. So that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. What are your thoughts about the role of artificial intelligence in the space of education and also the specific space of the studies of the school that you're teaching with?
Sure, thank you. So, artificial intelligence, it's a big umbrella, it's the latest buzzword, so to speak. It used to be big data a couple of years ago, now it's artificial intelligence. But it does carry, I think it will be here for a while because it does have a good resonance for all the activities that go under it. It's been mostly until now where we analyze using some very sophisticated algorithms, analytical tools, the things we call machine learning, for example. But we're starting to move into the space of not only recognition of images and sounds, music, as well as data that is in the form of numbers and text. But also we're starting to use artificial intelligence to create, right? These transformers, these generators that are now, from a training data set to be able to say, oh, you want me to complete that sentence for you? And all of a sudden they give you a paragraph as an example. So I think artificial intelligence can have many applications in the learning space, especially as a coach and a guide to students, these chatbots where the students can be guided by machines that are fairly intelligent to help them as they try to absorb new material, to learn new things. They can guide and help you as you make mistakes. They can point out things for you. So chatbots, these kinds of things driven by very intelligent algorithms that can look to see where the student is going and help correct them could be a tremendous aid. So many things that artificial intelligence can do for us in the learning space. I'm looking forward to a very bright future in that respect.
Thank you. Very interesting. So my third role is I'm the cognitive officer of the Florence Cathedral Museum, the Duomo of Florence. And my relationship with this institution is because I'm from Florence and I love art. I grew up with that. And also because we built together the artificial intelligence of Michelangelo, bringing back the artist to life 457 years ago. To give you a little background, we were able to do so because the institution organized a team of 3 researchers who are experts in the life of artists like Michelangelo, as well as other probably 30 different artists that are major characters or personage of history. And we decided to focus on Michelangelo itself. We collected over 25,000 questions. We built over 450 intents. So I would like to hear your thoughts about how artificial intelligence can contribute to education, also bringing back to life those personages of history. And if you had any experience of using this type of virtual reality experience in the museum space or other, related matters.
Sure, I could see this could be, it could have a tremendous future for educating folks especially under circumstances like we find ourselves these days with the pandemic, where it's hard to travel. Clearly, to be able to go to the site of a museum and experience a museum experience, it may not be exactly because you're not physically there, but it's close enough to be able to get the sense of what these artists did and experience artworks that you wouldn't otherwise be able to, right? So I recently had an experience with a colleague where I was showing her artwork that I had experienced physically when I went to Amsterdam to a museum where I saw Rembrandt's pictures, for example, and all his contemporaries. And the physical docent who physically helped me understand and again, a tremendous understanding of Rembrandt and what he had gone through in that moment in time and his history and so on, as an artist like Michelangelo that you did with your chatbots, for example. And I said to her, let's go there to the museum with our Oculus Rift. And we traveled there. You know, she was in New Jersey, I was in Poughkeepsie, and we put on our Oculus Rift virtual reality. And I took her to the museum because the museum made that part of the museum open, available, and we could travel together. She saw what I saw. And as I was guiding her in the museum, I could explain to her the story that I had heard. I transmitted it to her, and she was delighted to have heard this story about Rembrandt and what happened and the circumstances of that particular painting. And then I could take her other parts of the museum and show her what happened as he changed his style and painting. So it was a tremendous experience that, you know, it's just the beginning of where we're going with this. You know, your work with Michelangelo and the chatbot to try to help people interact with Michelangelo, to be able to get an understanding and a broader perspective, rather than just read it in a book or hear it from a teacher in a classroom, but be able to go there, you know, and interact and see things from a perspective that have been crafted by experts, right? That's tremendous. And without necessarily having to have to travel there, right? So these are the kinds of little indicators that we're headed for a very bright future as these techniques are applied to improve how we educate the next generation.
Fantastic. So I also read that you have a consultancy company. Can you briefly explain what this consultancy company does and how people can reach out to you to possibly collaborate and learn more?
Sure, thank you. It is a small consultancy, one person, myself as a consultant. I do a lot of training, especially in the data visualization, business analytics, data analytics space. And I work through companies like the American Management Association. And I travel all over the world to do these things when traveling was available. And now I do it virtually, right? So Zoom like everyone else. But eventually we will go bang there. And I also provide briefings for international delegations. I work a lot with Chinese delegations that come to America to learn about American higher education, the research environment, you know, what are we doing with privacy laws and things of that nature. And I get an opportunity to put briefings together for them. So that's why the global education, and Fortino is my company. And education is because I deal in that training, but also in the education space, briefings. And I have done quite a bit of traveling around the world to bring technology as well as the management of technology, innovation. Been to the United Arab Emirates to train them, and I've been to Korea, I've been to China quite a bit, Hong Kong, and Europe. I've been to quite a number of places with another training company, Learning Tree International, early on. So I've spent about a 40-year career doing this kind of, in addition to being a professor in higher education, work. And so I am available for that, but my main profession, of course, in my work that takes up most of my time is educating students in graduate school.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Andres. I really appreciate that.